Welcome back. Welcome in to Lions Share Podcast. The Lions go into Dallas, into Jerry World, and embarrass Dallas on their home field. Didn't even give up a touchdown today. The Lions come out with 47 points, which was actually higher than Dak's passer rating on the day. We'll talk about that a little deeper. Whomping in Dallas is what I wanted, and that's what I got. I was happy to see that. Full four quarters from the Lions today, 5 turnovers from the defense, and no touchdowns given up. Almost 500 yards of offense. Just an incredible day across the board. But, of course, we had the big news of the day, which was Aidan going down with a nasty, nasty leg injury. You know, prayers up for him, quick recovery, but that is a nasty one, and we'll talk about that in an unfortunate sore spot on what was arguably their best game in Dan Campbell's coaching career. And Andrew, as you always say, good teams win out of the bye. The Lions did more than that. They won and they crushed it in a big way. And shout out to you, Mitch, for the stat last week. But now that this does put Dan over 500 as a head coach of the Detroit Lions. This win bumps him above that. So, guys, thoughts on the game today? Obviously a ton to talk about when you put up 47 points and the Aidan injury, but what was your biggest takeaway from the day today?
Where was Dallas? Where was the Dallas offense? Where was the Dallas defense? We know they had a lot of injuries on defense. But where were they? Other big takeaway? I'm glad we got that opening score. Opening drive score. We kept it alive. That's one of my big takeaways.
Huge for your stat going on, your long season stat, yeah.
I mean, it's total team effort. I think I'm just in such a bad headspace about Hutch. It's like we don't even just get to enjoy it, that we just throttled Dallas on national TV in Jerry's World on his birthday. It all just gets sucked down into a deep, dark, black hole because Hutch's season is over. He may not even start next season. Obviously, we don't know. He broke his leg. Everybody knows that. He knew it right away. I mean, they zoomed in on his mouth. He said, "I broke it." So, it's a bummer. We wish him the best, and obviously a speedy recovery. But that's not a thing with an injury like that. So, it's tough. It's tough. The team played well today, coached well. It looked like after that, it's like, how are they going to react to that? AG looked pissed off. I mean, he looked like furious. So, I mean, a huge shout out to, because the game was not over by any stretch of the imagination when that happened. It was 31-9. That's plenty of time for Dallas to get a couple quick strikes, and they're right back in it. So, a huge shout out to the team and the coaches for getting right back into it. But it's really, really tough. Team played great today, and just the whole thing gets dragged down.
It really does, and you saw the reaction of both teams coming out on the field and a really long extended delay there in the game. Obviously, you got to put the air cast on, bring the card out, and it was just a tough scene. It took so long, and you just couldn't help but dwell on that. But you're right. You do like to see the way the team responded in a resilient manner. Didn't allow Dallas to get a couple scores there, like teams in Lions history may have done. They stayed true to what they were doing all day, and I liked how the offense came out and responded with that pass to JMO and then the subsequent touchdown or field goal. But all day 250 yards for Dallas total. I mean, you'll take that every week for a defense that is improving, but this was a huge step forward, something we were both looking for, all of us looking for. With this team coming out of a bye, you want to come out stronger, and they sure did come out strong today with a solid showing, and then the offense got things going too with that opening drive touchdown, Andrew, that you alluded to, but also the score out of the third quarter too, which has always been almost harder for them than the opening drive touchdown, as the third quarter has been, as some would call it, the turd quarter. It's been tough for this team historically, and Ben Johnson alike. They consistently did what they were doing all day, ran the ball. 308 yards passing, almost 200 yards rushing for the team today. Monty with a lot of those yards and a lot of those in angry forms, and no turnovers. A clean day from the offense. But how about let's give a little shout out to Tim Patrick. What did you guys like to see from Tim Patrick out of the bye? Seems like he's getting involved now.
This is what we've called for. I mean, kind of talked about it in the halftime capsule a little bit. It's just like we've been asking for that big body guy since last year. Tim Patrick was that. And I think, my favorite part of Tim Patrick today was on a Goff scramble, slid, not the most athletic looking thing of all time, which isn't going to blow anybody's doors off, but slid and kind of took a little bit of a shot. Tim Patrick kind of let the Cowboys guy know right away, like, hey, man, that's not okay. That's my guy right there. So, obviously, love to see him get involved with that. That was my favorite part of the game from him. Like, he's already got Goff's back and love to see it. It's part of the culture in Detroit, and Tim has jumped on the train right away.
Yeah, not only did he make passes that are right to him, right? He's on a slant. He should make that. It's a little comeback. He's going to make a third down and whatever it may be right at the sticks. No, he made that great adjustment, and the no call on it was a joke, but he made difficult catches, right? It's not like they were every day go out and get it. It was a difficult grab, and there was a few of them. And then on the other one, he fights to get in almost there, sets up what should have been that other score. But, oh, man, he was fighting to get in and really solidify his spot as, like, I guess, what do you call him? Wide receiver 3? What is he, wide receiver 5?
That's the beauty of it, is we were searching for 3 and 4, and now you've got a really solid core between St. Brown, J-Mo, and Laporta. You could almost throw in as a wide receiver too if he gets more involved, and now Tim Patrick and Khalif.
I think the answer is 3,
to
Andrew. Just to answer your question, I think Tim Patrick would be wide receiver 3.
You would think at this point, but before this week, you might, an argument could have been made, right? But Mitch, did you think you should have parlayed your prediction? Your prediction going into this game, in your little recording that we had, you had a Laporta touchdown, running backs both getting in, and then a Tim Patrick touchdown in for dessert. You almost got all of that in a row.
Felt good. I felt like you guys were kind of bumping me up in the chat here before during the game too. So, if I would have put any kind of monetary substance behind it, none of that would have happened. So I'm glad that I didn't.
And Murphy's Law,
Yes.
always going to be that way. Were you guys surprised? St. Brown, pretty quiet day today. Got that score. I think it was maybe late in the third or early in the fourth quarter. I had to early in the fourth quarter with 13 minutes left. I'm seeing the replay right now. For a minute there, I was like, oh yeah, St. Brown is on this team. I kind of forgot with the day that J-Mo and Tim Patrick and Khalif Raymond, your leading wide receivers today. I kind of forgot about St. Brown there for a minute, and it seems like the defense might have forgot about him there, about his ability, because he just easily beats that DB there for the touchdown. Good to see him get in the end zone. He had 4 catches today, 37 yards. Laporta 1 catch for 52 with the tutty there. Jamison Williams with the touchdown, 3 catches, 76 yards. And then on the ground, Gibbs with 2 touchdowns on the ground, 80 yards. Or Monty 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. Gibbs added the 63 on the ground. And then Jared for the day, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Did take 2 sacks, but 315 yards, 18 completions. Andrew, I know you and I in the pre-show, I think we said we'd probably see Jared in that 20 to 25, maybe up to 30 passes. He's right there at 25 today, and that's what we need from him in that range. We'll take that every week when the offense is humming the way it is, and his QB rating comes in at 153, which is pretty good for Jared, up there with last showing against the Seahawks. But overall, a really solid day from the offense. And Mitch, you alluded to it, but Ben Johnson really digging deep, dumping everything out, it seemed, but the kitchen sink there. Were you guys a little bit perturbed that he didn't save some of those plays?
I mean, you guys know that I was. I was just like, I get the offensive lineman thing. He's trying to be fun, but like, we've had enough fun. You're throttling them. You just keep running the ball down their throat. Save some of that stuff for when you're in an actual tight game where you need to pull some of that trickery out. If you remember, when Penei Sewell caught that ball, they needed that first down. That wasn't just for fun. They needed that first down. So I would have liked to save something. I mean, clearly he's just like a kid that picked up a Sharpie marker for the first time. He's just got endless ideas. But yeah, save a little bit for another game. This is a throttling of a not good Cowboys team.
Yeah.
I would say if it was any other team, tuck it back in there, but Dallas Cowboys trying to hang a 50 burger on them, I wanted more. Right there at the end, I wanted them to get back there in the end zone, put another one on it. And I know we're going to get into it later, but I thought if we put the 50 on it, McCarthy is definitely not coming back into the office on Monday.
No doubt. Some people calling for his job on the hot seat. Mitch, you added the note too on Jerry's birthday. That's not going to be a good feeling for Jerry and the Jones family. That's not what they want. That's not why they own the team. Not to get embarrassed on Jerry's birthday, nonetheless. Cowboys just not a good team.
Listen, should Mike McCarthy be fired? Yes. But so should Jerry Jones, GM. I mean, you can sit here and I don't think I think McCarthy's a good coach if you want to go to the playoffs every year. Do I think he's a great coach that's going to get you no, he had Aaron Rodgers in his prime and they got one.
Right.
I mean, but at the end of the day, they just emptied the Brinks truck for CD and Dak. Dak doesn't look that good. I mean, and their offensive line is a little bit of a problem. Lee McNeil played out of his mind today. I mean, Lee McNeil had an unreal game. So, credit where credit is due. But Mike McCarthy should be fired. But Jerry Jones is not, doesn't just get to wipe his hands clean of their performance, because I think that their talent in some of the non-flashy areas really showed up today, or in a bad way, I should say.
Absolutely well said, Mitchell. I mean, a lot of injuries played into it, but I mean, that's putting it so lightly. The GM does so much more than people think, and Jerry, just hand it off to somebody else. My goodness, go have fun.
Yeah, no one's gonna be sad if Jerry Jones were to, tomorrow were to surrender his rights to the team. Nobody. You talk to Dallas fans here in the great state of Texas, and they all point to that. Yeah, got a really solid team, but Jerry's still the owner, and everybody's in unison about that. It's always going to go back to that, and it just feels like this team's never going to get to that moment of a Super Bowl without ousting him. Kind of like the Fords in Detroit. You just had to move on from Martha.
The Cowboys, since having a Hall of Fame quarterback, Hall of Fame running back, Hall of Fame coach, have done nothing. Have done nothing with Jerry at the helm. He struck gold once, and he hasn't been able to do anything since.
Yeah.
I don't understand. How, if you were Jerry Jones, the owner, and you want to be competitive and you want to win, how do you not look in the mirror and say, yeah, I probably need to bring a GM in? Because I obviously am not seeing something.
Too stubborn.
Or more help. Maybe just not a full-blown GM. You can still be there, dude, but bring in some more help. My goodness.
Man's got too much pride for that. He's not giving it up. It's not him. Guarantee he doesn't look in the mirror. But hey, we're happy where we're at in Detroit with Sheila at the helm. So we love that. And sorry for Dallas, but yeah, they've had all the opportunity in the world to be that team that they think they all could be. But yeah, Dikisha was out in form today. Dikisha did not look good. Several interceptions. Could have gave him one more to Kirby early on in that game. Felt like that could be the story of the day at the beginning, was the refs were going to just insert themselves into positions where they didn't need to in Dallas, which, has been the history between these two teams. But hey, the Lions get their first win in Dallas since 2023. Psych, they lost that year, but they really won. 2011 is the first time since 2011. So, hey, the revenge tour continues. They couldn't beat the Seahawks for so many years. They beat the Seahawks before the bye on Monday Night Football, and they beat the Cowboys here out of the bye. Two teams that they've struggled with in DC's career. So that's huge. And Andrew, I know you alluded to it before we jumped on air here, but you thought that the offensive line was just in sync all day, perhaps one of their best games of the year.
Perhaps they were getting a lot of help. You saw all the different looks they pulled in. What'd they say? They had was it 6-7 guys out there at one point? They just had that absolute jumbo package they were coming out with. But yeah, I mean, you saw Tom Brady and Burkholder talking about it. They had 5 yards. Gibbs was getting 10 yards downfield before he was even seeing any contact. So hats off to the big guys up front. So you gotta give it to them when they deserve it.
It was one of these days right here. Everybody's favorite new sound effect, by the way. If it's too loud, we're sorry. Well, Mitch is not liking it. Mitch, you weren't on the show last week, and you're not giving me a good face right now.
It's so much that I didn't like it. It's more so that it didn't happen.
You don't think they pounded the rock today, almost 200 yards?
Oh gosh, Andrew, he's not getting it. Can you step in here
Didn't
for me?
hear it. Didn't hear
Oh,
it.
they didn't have to pound the rock because they weren't getting hit
Sound
before.
effect didn't come through.
Oh, the sound effect. Oh, wow.
Technical difficulty.
There it is. Wow. Wow. Tommy, just cut that
Found it.
and make sure that doesn't happen again. Yeah, you see there's 2 buttons here that you can click. Clicked button 1, not button 2. That's the preview. That's just for me. So here we go.
TD on this one.
Well, we may never recover.
I absolutely thought that they were pounding the rock. I absolutely love the sound effect. I absolutely love everything that just happened because normally Andrew's on the receiving end of stuff like that. So this has got to feel good for you, big guy.
Yeah, the TikTok hate comments are just getting to me, and I'm clearly flustered out here, just like Dak was in the pocket today. So, yeah, they did pound the rock, and that is the great PTR sound effect there. Thank you, Tommy, for setting me up for success there. Boy, how do you recover from that? Andrew, you want to hit him with the meow? Just kidding. Don't do that. Yeah, but I got to give a shout out to your boy, Andrew, Parker Hesse, on that block for the Monty touchdown. You know, doing the dirty work out there at fullback, not getting all, the love that the big showmakers get. But I think Tom Brady, gave him a little shout out there on the block. So that was huge. Yeah, I mean, they scored a lot today, so it's hard to surmise what happened offensively. But I do think that with the big showing there, America's team, Andrew, do you feel like after you alluded to this, was this the game to pass the torch of who the true America's team is?
I mean, I think if it was any closer, there may be a conversation for it, but total domination like this, Mitch, you said it right off the get-go. The Saints also completely dominated them at home. So I believe if they don't make the playoffs this year, come on. But yeah, this torch is definitely Detroit Lions time. Boy,
Shout
I had
out to the
something
fans
else to
too.
say. Ben's fluster passed the torch on to me. That was the real torch passing here.
Oh, hey-oh. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear from some fans that were in attendance for that game as far as how many people stuck around for that end of that game. I'm sure the seats were getting clear early, and we heard the "Let's Go Lions" chant. So obviously, some Honolulu Blue faithful out there,
well as some Jared Goff chants.
Oh yeah, and did you guys hear when Aubrey was up to kick? We got some "Let's Go Brandon" chants. I heard those in full force. They were having fun with it.
This is not a political podcast.
Let's go, Brandon. Aubrey. I see what they're doing there. Brandon's the kicker.
You think?
I don't know. That's I don't know. That's some
high level analysis
from you though. And what was I? Oh man, it's flustering me now. Where was I going to go with this? Oh, here's the thing. If it was, it was up against America's team on a lot of televisions with the Tom Brady Team A from Fox today. I think the downside would be, now if people didn't know about Ben Johnson now, they sure do now. Well, if they didn't know about them before, they do now.
Yeah, can I ask you guys a question? What was your thoughts on old Tom Brady and Burkhardt?
I was just gonna say I thought Tom did well. I'll be honest with you. You know what though?
Burkhardt.
He sounds like Greg Olsen.
Right?
He sounds a lot like Greg Olsen. So
it's almost like he's trying to be somebody else.
Yes,
it's not necessarily bad. It's not like, I can't listen to him.
I thought it was good. I would take that over Romo 10 times out of 10. Like no doubt in my mind, I'd rather have Brady than Romo.
I forget that it's Tom Brady.
Exactly. It doesn't even sound
because
like
he's
him.
human. This is the most human thing we've seen from Tom Brady, and they kind of made a joke about like, oh yeah, you saved me a few times, like you've had to cover for me so I think he knows he's not like a stud by any means. It's weird. It's weird to me, all the hype that Fox is giving him. It's weird that he's allowed to buy the Raiders. It's weird that he's making more money now than he did as a quarterback. All those things to me are very strange. But I thought he did well.
He lost all that money playing quarterback, losing Bitcoin, though. That's why.
He did quite a bit. And divorce.
Did you going through the big D, and I don't mean Dallas. That's the divorce right there.
Early on, you guys, did you guys think he disappeared? It felt like only Burkhardt was talking, and then I heard some like noise off screen. I thought he kind of disappeared for a hot second. I didn't know if we lost him or not.
Did he pull a Harbaugh and have to go to the bathroom and change his pants? Have Mike
Who's to
Pereira
say?
step in?
We only see him waist up, so who's to say?
Did you see that one time they came back from commercial and it was like him and Burkhart in the booth? Like, I don't know what was going on. I wasn't focused on what was going on, but it was a weird, like, I don't know what it was, but it was odd. I'll say that. It's bad radio, but it was odd, just to say the least. But yeah, I almost wonder if he like got coached up by Greg Olson's, like if they did some sort of training. I'm sure he got
Well, he's
super
got to be
polished.
training year. I mean, they gave him $375 million. What's another however much to give him like a dialect or announcing coach?
Right. Well, they were doing the practicing during the preseason off air, where they were just in a simulated booth and not broadcasting it. So that's kind of where that probably came in, and I'm sure Burkhart, is used to Olsen. So anyway, that's a lot. That's talking Tom Brady and the announcers, but yeah, it was an incredible day from the offense. I mean, replicate that each and every week, and we're gonna be happy coming out of it. Let's shift to the defense that generated 5 turnovers today and no touchdowns from the Cowboys today. In terms of sacks too, they had what do they have total? 4. Aleem with 2, as you alluded to, Mitch. Big day from him. Trevor Nowaski with his first NFL sack as a Lion, as an NFL player coming out of Saginaw Valley State University, and then Aidan got his 1, and that totals your 4. So Aidan getting hurt on that one, of course. Do you guys want to talk about it? Like what is this defense without Aidan, and do they go get Maxx Crosby?
I think this is it's so obvious that they have to go get somebody. Maxx Crosby makes sense for so many reasons. I think he's talked positively about the Lions and Dan Campbell in the past. He obviously went to Eastern Michigan. I think he fits the culture. Saw some troubling video today of him shoving it. Looked like a coach, so don't love that. But, I mean, there's obviously frustration in the Raiders organization. Aleem can't play like that every single game. Aleem was literally out of his mind, and I think those guys were like, okay, all of a sudden it goes from we hate the Cowboys to this is for Hutch. They need somebody. I think if you go get a Maxx Crosby, you pick up his salary. You probably give a second or third rounder, probably second rounder. But it shows that you're serious and you think that this is the win right now year. I think it's worth it. And then what's the worst that happens if you can? I don't know what their salary cap looks like next year. I think the troubling part is you're going to have to pay Aleem at some point. If you can figure out a way to make Max stick around next year as well, and with Hutch and Aleem, and all of a sudden you have the top. I don't know. They have to go get somebody. I rambled on too long. They have to go get somebody. I would love if it were Maxx Crosby.
Yeah, I think before in that situation, you had Pascal step up today. He had an absolute out of his mind game as well. At the same time as Aleem, you were hoping somebody like him was going to step up, and then you've also got Ukwu there. I think it's Ukwu, however you say it. You're hoping one of those guys were going to step up, pull another practice squad guy, hoping they were going to be the ones to fill those shoes for Davenport. And now losing Hutch on the other side, you can't just go get another B kind of guy where they're not demanding as much money and you can kind of skate by. Now you really need to go get a superstar on the defense, because now, like we were talking off air, it seeps into the defensive backfield as well. Terrion is getting absolutely dogged with penalties, and the rest of the backfield as well. Linebackers, when they go into coverage, are just adding to that. So that's just going to hurt all of that. Absolutely need to go get somebody. If Maxx Crosby is the guy, he is a superstar. I think you got to pay whatever it is to get him, because this is the win now window.
Absolute animal out there, but he does have that character that, who knows? You move him into a place where he's happy.
It's kind of the first time we've seen that, though, right? Like, I've never heard of Max being a problem at all. And he fought for Antonio Pierce last year. So did Devontae Adams. And now Devontae Adams wants out. So there's something going on in Vegas. I think Antonio Pierce is a one and done if he makes it to the end of the season.
Yeah, I loved Antonio Pierce coming into that organization. I've had high hopes for that guy, but it's not looking good for them. Got an update on Maxx Crosby. He says that's a love push. That's what he's calling it. He said he downplayed it in his press conference. Says that's a love push.
We're calling it like we see it here, and as it's been reported, folks. Just get it right.
Come, love push DC. He'll push you back.
Oh man, he might throw a punch like he did against Ragnar punching Dan. You know, I mean, people will believe anything these days. But yeah, he did tweet out, "Mike Caldwell is my guy." That's the guy he pushed. He said, "One of the best people in the business. That's a love push. Stop reaching." So, I mean, we'll see. The trade deadline, if you're looking ahead to it, if they want to make this deal happen, it's got to happen in about the next 3 weeks. We're looking at November 5th as your trade deadline date. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the next couple weeks. That's for sure. Would have been nice to kind of maybe do some preliminary on that if you're the front office during the bye week. Certainly still possible to get that done. But yeah, it's a glaring need. You got Hassan Reddick out there as well, but
Fuck that. No. This dude, I can't wrap my head around the guy who gives. You think your worth is however much more, so you're just gonna give away millions of dollars. I can't wrap my head around. And didn't his agency just dump him? If I'm correct,
I don't know. He's got a lot of problems. He's got a lot of baggage with him.
Yeah. And so listen, maybe Holmes waits. They got Vikings, Titans, Packers. Maybe you play those three. You see how the defense looks, and you go from there. But to me, it's like, don't even risk it. Just go get somebody. Like, yeah, they needed somebody before. Now you need to like replace that talent.
Yeah, I think if the division was in worse shape. Yeah, I think if the division was in worse shape, then maybe you wait. But
that's
with the Vikings,
I think you have
being
to go
what
now.
they are. Yeah, I mean, there's the easiest way we say it. The easiest way to the playoffs: win your division. This is going to be a tough road here.
Aidan is in surgery right now.
Wow,
he's already in surgery.
Wow, who's that coming from?
ESPN.
They say anything else?
Just said he's undergoing immediate surgery in Dallas.
Damn, we got the best healthcare. Yeah, you're right, Andrew. With the Vikings next week, I mean, that's suddenly probably one of your biggest games, if not the biggest game of the year, going into Minnesota, into the Bird Killing Stadium against 5-0 Minnesota off of a bye, by the way, which all signs point to that one being a thriller in Minnesota. Detroit with back-to-back home games there after the bye. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. There's going to be some moves. If it's not Maxx Crosby, it's going to be something probably this week.
Yeah, and the other reason you can't wait is like it's going to take him a couple weeks to really get acclimated with the other guys on the team, get acclimated with the defense. It's going to take some time, so you got to get him rocking and rolling, get him those reps as soon as possible.
Officially a broken tibia.
Reading
it as it comes in.
Damn. It's so sad in so many ways. So many people reacting online to that and in the world. It's real. I mean, a captain, just a great guy out there. It's just so tough on a day that was so great for the Lions. But you're right, Andrew. It does take some time to ramp up. You can't just insert these guys. I feel like with a guy like Maxx Crosby with that caliber, you can accelerate that timeline for sure. Anybody else, it's going to take that. It's certainly going to take more than a week. Maxx Crosby, you might get the immediate impact from just because he's such an X factor. I mean, defensive player of the year type of caliber. Yeah, he's actually the double X factor because he's got two X's in his name. The double X. You would love to see it, and I know we've made the reference to CJ DJ being the sheet of this team, but that guy would probably be the Rasheed Wallace of this team now. Give that defense, and Andrew, we've been looking for that animal. Aidan was that animal, and now you're down an animal on defense, on a defense that it was growing in identity, but now how do you fix that? You get somebody who is the definition of an identity, Maxx Crosby. It's got to be filled. You can't continue on without that. And shout out to, we already kind of did, but Trevor Nowaski with the sack there coming in later in the game. Brian Branch with the forced fumble. Kirby Joseph did finally get his INT, and just just turnovers generated from the defense, which had, struggled against the Seahawks. It was great to see them rebound, not only when the turnovers, but also just having a great day overall, only allowing 9 points, 3 field goals, and locking down in a couple red zone opportunities for Dallas when we could have had touchdowns and could have totally changed the pace of this game. The Lions dominated the time of possession, 35 to 25 in that range. Nearly doubled Dallas on yards, almost 250 yards for Dallas, almost 500 for Detroit, almost double. Just not a chance that Dallas ever had in this game. What else? What else we got? Special teams, Jake Bates with 3 field goals today. Was it 3? I'm trying to remember. This is the trouble with doing a game or a podcast right after the game, Jake Bates was
33, 48, and what was the other one?
His long was 48. He had 4 on the day, 5 extra points.
And a 40-yarder? 40,
yeah.
48, and a 33?
He's trying to get his way up to that 50-yarder, Mitch, that you called for before the season started. You were calling for 5, I think, 5 50-plusers. I thought we were going to get it today.
I mean, the way that we were trying to do all those cutesy plays and just kept getting backed up, we were on or out for one.
Maybe he was. Maybe Dan was trying to test Jake, in the dome there down in Dallas. I don't know. But yeah, it's a lot to unpack, especially right after the game. Actually, we started recording just before the game even ended. And it's a great day when you see Hendon Hooker out there. A lot of guys getting to sit down early. J-Mo super involved. Decker almost got a touchdown. Penei Sewell almost got a touchdown. Just incredible. A lot to go around today. How many times can I say that in different ways? The fans too. The Let's Go Lions. Yeah, let's roll the halftime capsules before I start rambling any longer. Let's start with mine.
Well, said I wanted a whomping in Dallas. Kind of getting it right now. 3 scores, not really a whomping. I'm hoping to get some more points out of the half.
You're welcome, Mitch, for the improved
Would have
quality.
liked to have seen Dallas with just 3, but 2 field goals from
more,
Dallas in the
more
first half. You'll take
vintage
that every
Yankee broadcast.
week for that defense. Defense looking better and better each week. Making Dak uncomfortable out there. He looks like Dakisha. Offense looking really solid. Offensive line imposing their will at the line of scrimmage. Running backs solid. Tim Patrick getting involved. Laporta on a flea flicker. Jared solid out there doing exactly what we need him to do. Not too much, not too little. And you get that kick return right before that. It kind of leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth. Up 3 scores. You should hold that. You got to keep the gas pedal down, though. If you're the offense, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do in the second half. Let's see what we can do playing with the lead. Sorry, dog was making a noise there. Had to check. Lost my train of thought. But offense, keep rolling. Keep that foot on the pedal. And defense, let's create some more turnovers. Let's not let Dallas back into this game. I'm not 100% comfortable, but I'm excited what I'm seeing. I'm loving it. But my expectations are tempered. Let's keep Dallas out of this game, and let's leave Dallas with a dub. Come on.
Andrew's turn.
All right, halftime capsule. Wow. I think this is the most complete this team has looked. We got a nice rainy day here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, trying to keep the heart rate low. Lions doing everything they can to spike that heart rate, though, and I'll take it. This is exciting. Kirby Joseph had an interception called back right off the get-go. Wanted to add another one, but let's start out with they've got a touchdown on their opening drive. Love to see them keep that streak alive. The offense is doing a lot of fun things. Ben Johnson maybe trying to dig a little too deep in his bag here at times, trying to get too fancy on some of those third downs. And Monty just refuses to go down with one guy. I mean, this guy is unbelievable to watch. And another one, Tim Patrick, welcome to the Detroit Lions. I think what we can say is everybody's getting involved, and we got to keep that going here. Let's twist it. We've got the cleat on the throat. Let's do a little twisting. Aleem, couple big sacks. Let's just close this game out, defense. This is going to be great practice for playing with a lead. No funny business. End this game. Let's go, Lions.
Obviously, they didn't get
All right.
they didn't get the memo on no funny business because they just went straight funny business in the second half.
Well, we nearly immediately got funny business.
If not sooner. Do you guys ever feel like with David Montgomery, that it's the most casual looking run, but also the most electric? It's just so like pedestrian. He makes it look easy.
I would say that until we saw this guy from Boise State.
Just get another
wanna
guy
say
in there,
Mark,
three-headed monster.
I don't know how to say his name.
Did you guys see what Montgomery said? They're calling him and Gibbs Sonic and Knuckles. I think that's incredible.
Love it. Absolutely. Yeah, put that on a t-shirt. But yeah, I don't know, very quietly puts up yards and scores. And same with Gibbs. I don't know if you guys caught the point where someone from Dallas was talking that smack to Gibbs on the sideline, and Gibbs quite literally acted like no one was even talking to him. He just straight back to the huddle. It was great, and I'm sure Dan Campbell would love that as well. All right, Mitch's turn.
Halftime, Capsule Lions are rolling in the D. Love what I'm seeing from the offense. Love what I'm seeing from the defense. Putting a lot of pressure on Dak. Aleem's gotten home a couple times, which is amazing. Resurgence of Tim Patrick, which is great. We've been talking about this a ton. We needed that big body guy, sure-handed guy. And Tim Patrick is having his little coming out party here. So love to see it. I mean, just keep pounding the rock on the ground with Monty. He's just a man possessed, trying to prove that he was worth every penny that we just extended him for. Don't have a lot to complain about. Little aggressive play or not necessary from Anzalone and Campbell in the first half. Got caught flat-footed, a couple of costly penalties. But overall, defense looks good, offense looks good. We just got to stay aggressive. Don't abandon this game plan just because you're up and get conservative and try to run the clock out. Keep it going. Keep pounding the rock. Keep the offensive play calls the way that they've been. Football is fun when Ben Johnson is in his bag. Don't get out of it just to protect the lead. Stay aggressive. Let's get out of Dallas with a win. Go Lions. Sped up there at the end. I was trying to come in under 60 seconds. Came in at, did you see the time on that, Ben?
Oh, that was my first thing I was going to say. I was going to say you hold the record for getting it right at 60. That's not the first time either.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Excellent work. Andrew and I will at some point we'll get to under 60 in our careers. But
there's no need. Don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just like I try to just not ramble on, but I think what you guys say is all valid. So
yeah,
Mitchell, just like you sped up there at the end, I was going to say way more about the defense and looked at the time, and I was already over a minute. Just let's get this over with.
Let's just cut it short. Let's go Lions. Continue in the second half. Keep playing like you're doing. Just don't change anything. Basically, to surmise it. But yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway for me is they finally came out of the second half and put another 2 quarters together just like the first 2. And it was most complete, consistent in so many ways. And shout out to you, Mitch, for mentioning, David Montgomery getting extended through 2027. That was the news we got yesterday, I believe. He came in on a 3-year deal, $6 million a year. Now he's bumped up to a total of $37 million or something like that. Basically comes out to $9 million, I think, a year, which is, I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that's like a steal.
Listen, I love Montgomery. The running backs make me nervous. I think will he be 31 when his contract is done? 30,
Perfect.
31? Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, he's earned it. There's no doubt. He's an absolute stud. I like it. I need to stop complaining. Don't worry about things to come. Just enjoy the present.
Absolutely.
Eagle Scouts are meant to last, man.
That's
okay.
Shout out to Monty here through 2027.
That just sounds like something you'd hear in like a knockoff version of a Mario game.
Well, the website we got these from was free, so that might have something to do with it.
I see.
Yeah. We don't generate a lot of income here. All right, let's talk BAM Players of the Week. Andrew, did you want to start us off, sir?
Yeah. I'd say after the Hutch, Hutch, what can we say? He's in surgery, says Mitch and ESPN. we got to give it to him. He's got to hit those, but we'll give it to the defense as a whole as well. We want them to get a shout out for stepping up when Hutch went down, and they stepped up in a big way, 5 turnovers. And the other oddballs, we'll give it to the ref's belt because those flags were coming in awfully late. They must have been too tight in there or something. I don't know.
I'm with Andrew. I think it's got to be Hutch. Obviously, huge loss, but he broke his leg and then kind of actively finished the sack, which is insane. And if I'm correct, he will be the solo sack leader in the NFL after today, and he might hold that for like a couple more weeks, which is crazy to think about.
There's something to be said about that, absolutely. But yeah, Andrew, to talk about your penalties, yeah, eight penalties for the Lions today. Shocker, the Lions had more penalties than Dallas in Dallas. When does that ever happen? Dallas with only 4 today. But I think we're in unison, boys. It's got to go to Hutch just from the day, a lot of deserving folks out there on both sides of the ball. Most complete game of the year, but give it to Hutch, man. Guy deserves it. And I think the shareholders would ring true in unison with us. Shareholders, don't vote down below on Spotify, Instagram. Remember that the S is for shareholders. You can vote on TikTok as well. Couple extra things. Speaking of TikTok, shout out to the TikToker who said 34-6. He was, the score was 34-6 at one point, so pretty solid there from him. And then the other guy who said 77-3. I got a kick out of that one pregame before the game happened. And then as the game went on, I thought, man, that might just happen. We may have 50 plus from the Lions today. Could have very well had that. Bates with 4 field goals today. If you convert those into touchdowns, the Lions would be well over 50, if not 60 today. I mean, they could have, with the production they had from everybody. Spread the ball around, wide receiver, tight end, fullback, running back, quarterback, everybody involved today. And on the opposite side of the ball, they shut down CD under 100 yards. So shout out to the defense. Like you said, Andrew, a really solid showing for them. Exactly what we wanted to see out of the bye from both sides of the ball. You couldn't have scripted it better, minus the Hutch injury. I mean, it would be just the perfect game for the Lions. It just sucks. You just can't help but think back to that, and we were hoping for the best for him.
It's like too dark a chocolate. Bittersweet, man.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I got distracted by Mitch's highlighter in there. Yeah, you want to save the tracker? Because I think none of these have been updated yet.
Yeah, I was trying to look. I was trying to dig in deep and see if maybe some of the stuff got updated, but I think they wait until after the Monday night game. So we might have to. We're gonna do an update on our predictions. I did this selfishly because they're not gonna be leading the league in forced turnovers, but they're gonna be much better than they currently are because they got 5 today. So
they came into the day with 5, and now they have 5 more to add on it.
They doubled up.
Yeah.
There were several teams in double digits already, but this is going to help my prediction, as well as Andrew's top 5 offense, top 5 defense. I think that's going to help quite a bit.
Yeah. By the way, those were our surprises. So we weren't guaranteed. These were not our guarantees. Our surprises were Mitch's was lead the league in forced turnovers. I said a 4th down conversion rate higher than last season. They came in at 57 today, and were 53% overall last year. Andrew said dual 1,000-yard rushers. If you do a little quick math, that would put Monty at 360-ish and Gibbs around 350, 340. So they're getting there. We're about a third of the way through the season at this point. So they're on pace for about 1,000 each. Would love to see it. And then also you said top 5 offense, top 5 defense. They were 3rd in offense coming in, and then 22nd in defense. Surely that will rise. Our guarantees, though, we want to talk about that. I said a win on Thanksgiving and a win in Dallas for the first time since 2011. I can check that one off, a win in Dallas. Andrew, you can check off home open win because you already had that. And then a win off of the bye. You got that too. Mitch, sure. We don't have anything from yours. Although top 10 in offense right now is true.
Give me half of one. Yeah.
But that's just because you had a different approach than we did.
I went long term.
Yours, yeah.
Can I give you guys a pop quiz?
Love it.
Who scored 47 yards away from the end zone to open up scoring Bengals Giants?
Oh, because that game just started. I totally forgot that started 20 minutes ago.
Jamar Chase.
47 yards out. We've got a Jamar Chase.
I'm gonna say Daniel Jones.
Joe Burrow with a 47-yard scramble
Scamper?
to the end zone.
Joe
Did
Burrow
the
with the
defense
scamper.
run to the sidelines, or what happened?
What were the odds on that one?
Man, he
Yikes.
must have started taking the Jamar Chase approach, man. Wearing the baby oil or what?
He was just wide open to the right. He must have
did he?
seen almost an entire field, and he just left. Nice.
Giants defense on that one. Cowboys today.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah,
That one's intense.
I
Did
know.
you use that one last week? I don't
I
think
don't think so.
All
That-
right.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did this one for sure. This is my favorite one. The gambler in me just wants to go hit the slots every time, every single time. Yeah. So let's talk about the NFL quick before we get out of here. I'm going to start with my boy Nick Sirianni because I love to talk about any opportunity to talk about Philly, and this guy should have lost to the Browns today, by the way. But he was fighting. They were in Cleveland, I think, in this game, but he was fighting his own fans.
I thought those were Browns fans, to be honest.
ESPN was saying that they were Eagles fans. That's either way, it's a bad look.
I mean,
you're going to
yeah,
let
I guess it
fans get
doesn't-
under your skin?
it's not the first time.
Not the first time with him.
He's
Then you do the-
that's another dude. So I feel like halfway through the season, we are more than likely going to be able to say, like, okay, here are the coaching availabilities next year. The Cowboys and Eagles are going to be two of them.
Jags.
Jags.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't even want to say that. Let's just like, come on.
It's already open.
Shit, it
Might
should
be,
be.
by the time this podcast comes out, it might be.
True.
Yeah, the Eagles, I mean, they're 3-2, but let's be honest. They should have lost.
It's an ugly 3-2.
They should have lost to New Orleans. They could have lost today to they should have lost to Green Bay. They should have lost to Cleveland. Like, they could easily be on. Oh.
Who would you rather be a fan of right now, Bengals or Eagles?
Oof. I guess it depends on if the Bengals win tonight, which they should against the Giants. They should take care of business there. I would say the Bengals.
Okay.
I just
I'd
think
still
Philly,
say
like,
Eagles.
You'd go Eagles. I'm with Ben. I'd rather go. Listen, at the end of the day, like, Bengals
It's-
are losing in the way that the Lions used to lose by just like who's going to score the most points before time is done. The Eagles are just just caca to watch.
like
Just
the Eagles.
ugly.
The Eagles are a lot like the Cowboys. Like, they have a lot of the key people in key positions.
They-
that roster's
they
solid.
have
Eagles
a
looked
very
better
good
with AJ
roster.
Brown today, though. They looked
I mean,
much
obviously he
better with
plays
Yeah,
big
but
in-
AJ Brown.
still, but they only scored 20 points.
He's still working his way back onto the field. I mean, it's his first,
it's
first
just
game
like you
back.
look at. They've got Saquon Barkley, like Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts.
Saquon Barkley rushed 18 times for 47 yards, and that's like
That's-
a top
that's
3
crazy.
offensive line.
That's what I
That's
mean. Like, this
crazy.
team should be a one-loss, if not unbeaten team based on the teams they played. They played Green Bay, Atlanta, New Orleans, Tampa, and Cleveland. Like, Green Bay's solid, but that game was in Brazil. I think that one doesn't count. It's got an asterisk next to it. Barely beat New Orleans. Barely beat Cleveland. I mean, I don't know.
In Cleveland, like should we just do this every week? Like, what are you just rip the
Bench
Band-Aid
him.
off? Cut him. Don't even
That's
bench him.
good, too.
Just cut it. 16 for 23, 168 yards, 5 sacks. No touchdowns, no picks, just existing.
Bad. Dude, that was bad. There was one, too, where he was running, and he went to go slide, kind of did a slide, or either that or ran out of bounds.
I mean,
but
it's
it was
just
short of the first down, and laughed with the defense, like, I knew you guys were going to get me there anyway.
He's terrible.
Yeah, I think he went 11 straight completions today, and they were making a big deal about it, but it was...
Just dink and dunk.
Yeah,
Nothing.
it was nothing impressive. It was... I don't know.
That one like startles me.
Oh,
I keep
more
thinking
than
it's
the
my
pound of rock?
headphones blowing. Just a friendly heads up. Turn your car speakers down.
Yeah, that might be the frequency, the hertz of it. Speaking of Jalen Hurts, the hertz of that. But did we have a Will Levis moment of the week? I know we talked about it a little bit pre-show.
I thought. Well, go ahead, Andrew. Yours is better.
Well, I thought it was when he took out the ball boy that the program called him. Let's note he was a ball
The
man.
ball boy.
That's like when you see Mermaid Man in the show and then see him in real life in the nursing home. That was the difference. Shattered his leg, a little reminiscent to what we saw last year. Mitchell, what was your Will Levis moment?
I can't even remember what it was, but they scored a touchdown and he just did the most ridiculous celebration. It was almost as if you could insert just like a 47-year-old dad, his kid scored in Rocket League for the first time, and he somehow got to run out there and celebrate with the team. That's what it looked like. Did you find it, Ben?
Can you show us a live reenactment, please, Mitchell?
I'm trying to work it right now, but I just got a kick out of Mitch saying Rocket League because it's like Rocket League football, but I just can't help but think of the game Rocket League. Sorry.
Ben, you're so immature.
I know. NFL fans react to Will Levis's meme-worthy Spider-Man celebration.
That's what it was. He's going like this.
Okay, here we go. So this is awful. I'm going to share this. This is awful.
Bad.
I'm not laughing at the celebration. I'm laughing at the other picture, which is awful. And Andrew, just try to maintain yourself here. This is not our tweet. We don't condone things that are shown on this program created by other accounts, NFL memes. All of Will Levis's moments thus far in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5.5.
A double dipper in week 5.
Yeah, so yeah. That poor guy, that is that is not a ball boy. That is a man.
Right? They kept calling him a ball boy. They were doing him a huge disservice to his shattered leg. Quit calling him a ball boy.
I'm not sure what I just watched here with this celebration. Yeah,
it's really, you're gonna have to go find it, Andrew. It's really
Mitchell.
choppy,
That's actually a great description. 47-year-old gets to the piñata party. That was a Spider-Man piñata, and he's just excited for the kids. I would be too. That might be something I would break out. Maybe not in the end zone though.
Yeah, I apologize that this video quality is not up to par, but I'm seeing it firsthand, and it's not good. I can tell you that for free. Will Levis moment of the week, sponsored by Duke's Mayo. But I also saw the sideline injury aircast and carted off. Not good for the ball gentleman there. That was tough. I'm not going to show that one. What else? What else did we have from the week? Seahawks beat the 49ers. Or no, sorry, I wish that happened. 49ers beat the Seahawks. Jags lost to Chicago, and Green Bay won. So everybody knows that the NFC North is, the powerhouse division.
I saw a stat, and I think it's I don't know if this is gonna be true. So if someone wants to fact check me, I think it's the first time in NFL history through the first quarter of a season a division has been over 750 win percentage.
I would believe that. I mean, that's
the whole the worst record's 4-2. That's insanity.
Do we think at this point, is everybody going to be over 500? The Bears would be probably the one that has the most likelihood to not be over 500, but their schedule is not very bad.
Correct.
They have one of the easier ones. We all had the Jags in London. That kind of hurt.
So the Bears have Commanders coming up next week. Then they go Cardinals, who are spicy, Patriots, but then it's Packers, Vikings. I mean, the Bears are going to hit the back half of the season, and it's gonna come. Life's going to get real in a hurry. Packers, Vikings, Lions, 49ers, Vikings, Lions, Seahawks, Packers. Oof.
Yeah, this
division
schedule
is
here,
treacherous.
Yeah, it's Chicago. I don't know. They're going to lose some of these games just because it's a young team, rookie quarterback. Some of these are just going to be losses. But I think you could very well see. I mean, you guys agree? Minnesota, Detroit, Green Bay, all above 500.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Shout out to the TikTokers too that call this idiots for both taking the Bears to lose and the Packers to lose.
What do you mean? Why? Why?
I stand corrected there. Just that they didn't think we were going to be right on that, and we were very much wrong on taking the Cards. and the
I don't think
Jags.
that's not like a terrible pick. I mean,
No, the
I
spread.
said it earlier. Cardinals absolutely beat themselves today. I don't think it was anything. Packers offense looked fine, but like let's not act like the Cardinals didn't have a million penalties against them today.
Romeo Dobbs just kept appearing where the ball was thrown into the air. That was the story of the Packers.
Home game for the Jags. Just take it easy out there. We didn't know they were going to lay an absolute egg. Doug Peterson's going to get fired. That's not our fault.
I don't know, man. Did you see how many Bears were in attendance?
There were quite a few. I also saw
the Bears
that
fans were ruckus in London.
I also saw the guy with the Urlacher jersey and also the Jags beanie on.
It's amazing.
Was ready to root for whoever.
Before I forget, also Sirianni, new haircut. Not working for you, brother. The shaved head is not working for you.
I honestly, I hate Sirianni, but I honestly didn't think it looked that bad.
Okay.
It looked like if you got a bad haircut, and so you just decided to shave it off. But what made it look better is that he wears a ball cap with it, so...
Yeah, you can cover it up a lot with a ball cap, as we all sit here with ball caps on.
So not a ton of great picks by the squad. I mean, this has to be collectively our best week ever by a long shot.
It just makes me regret taking the first three.
No, come on. I mean, I don't think those are I don't think that those are bad picks. The 49ers have looked shaky. Jags coming off of a win, going and play in front of the hometown London crowd. And the Cards are spicy. I think the Cards are unpredictable, and the Packers have not looked amazing. So,
right,
I don't see any that I'm just like I'm shocked by. I'm shocked that Andrew picked the. God, I don't want to say titties, but I think I have to.
The tighties. Is Andrew still here? By the way.
Oh, sorry. I think I just disconnected for a second. I thought you guys were frozen. I thought Mitchell was actually doing a bit there.
Well, I think I wouldn't put it past always doing a bit.
This whole thing is a bit.
Hey man, they were up early too. I thought they were in it. I thought they were going to pull that one off.
That one was.
I'm going to pick against Joe Flacco.
That's what it came down for me. I mean, I didn't ever have it in my heart to take the Titans, but a divisional game with Titans at home, it was compelling. But yeah, that's what I always go back to with the Colts, Mitch, is like Joe Flacco is going to keep them in that ball game. It's going to be close, at least.
I mean, they have to like. You went and got. This is like we get to the camp. There's two camps. Start him to get game experience. Sit him to let him learn. You got Anthony Richardson because of his raw physical capabilities, and I think like. Maybe it's like half and half. I'm trying to think of like the Hall of Famers who in our generation that have started right away for Sat. And like started right away.
Matthew.
I can really only think of Peyton Manning.
Andrew threw one in there for you.
Who? Who was it?
Stafford.
Yeah. So let me pause. Who was Stafford's backup? Was it Kidna? I think that would be the caveat to this. Is like I think a lot of these teams, and maybe Manning was the same, but like Mahomes, Rodgers. It's really early to say this, but Jordan Love, Tom Brady, like there's a long list of guys who sat a year and were really really good for it. Phil Rivers, like there's a list of these guys.
Philly.
And I think Anthony Richardson is so raw. Let him learn behind Joe Flacco for a season, and you're better for it. Like you are a better team with Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I mean this team's not going anywhere. The Colts, right? Like you're not going to lose anything. You're not going to lose out by not putting Richardson out there. I agree, Mitch.
Also, Doug Peterson's not going to get fired because they literally play in London again next week. So after next week, when they, I guess more than likely lose to the Patriots, is when he gets fired, and then they leave him in London.
Man, that's it, man. They can't let him go if he's already there.
Ooh, Werewolves of London is going to be playing in his head. That's tough. I mean, I feel like the Patriots. I don't know. A lot of points this week. That's what I've got to say from the NFL as a whole. The Tampa Bay game had 78 points combined. I think if I do a little quick math, we've got only two games that didn't hit the over this week.
Fun. Football's fun.
2 games being the Philly game as well as Indianapolis and Tennessee only getting 37 with an over-under that was at 43. So, but Tampa Bay with a huge showing today. They did get the 50 burger, 78 points combined there in the NFC South. There were a couple thrilling games there in the 1 o'clock hour. I don't know anything from the 4 o'clock window because I was locked on the Lions game. Did we see anything compelling from Falcons, Panthers, or Steelers, Raiders, minus the push from Crosby? Chargers, Broncos, we had the fact that Harbaugh went into the blue tent. Shout out to you, Andrew, for calling that one out. Going to the blue tent, didn't come out. I think they had, is it Jesse Minters coming out there to coach? And then Harbaugh did return, I think, in that game.
The only thing I heard about it was that they stopped John Harbaugh because he was giving a press conference after their game and said, hey, we just want to let you know that your brother went into the blue medical tent. And then they kind of rushed him off the podium so he could go check on his brother.
He just had atrial fibrillation. Very
I'm reading.
common.
I'm reading
yeah.
that. It says it can cause the upper chambers of the heart to beat 250 to 350 times per minute. That's insane.
Quick throwback, Andrew. That's what I used to. That's what I used to deal with back in the good old days.
I didn't know this about you.
Oh yeah,
Didn't know that's what couldn't remember that's what it was.
I was always taking medicine. Had to do it like 3 or 4 times a day.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Look at you persevering, though.
I'm pretty much like Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, basically the same thing. You have the same Lulu pants, I think, right?
No, I don't know that Jim Harbaugh. I think he buys those from Walmart.
I think you're right.
He's
I think it's
got it
Kohl's.
better than you guys.
Oh, man. I don't know. Anything else? The Ravens Commanders game was kind of interesting there for a minute. Thought the
Commanders are for real.
Yeah, I think so. I think
And
that
the Ravens are for real, for real.
Do you think the Ravens are for real? Are you putting them in that category?
Oh, big time, yeah. I think right now, if I had to pick a team from the AFC, it'd be the Ravens.
So in the AFC, go ahead, Andrew.
I was just gonna say, it seems like Lamar can just will them to a victory at times too. Would just make something happen.
I guess. I mean, I'd love to say if I was a betting man, I'd probably pick the Chiefs, but I'd rather the Ravens. I mean, for some reason, it just feels like the Chiefs haven't played their best football, and they're still 5-0, and it's just obnoxious.
Yeah, it's kind of a quiet 5-0.
Yeah, if we're talking about betting too, as a Mark Andrews hearer about her, I think I've got him in a league. Go screw yourself, man.
Sorry. I mean, so I'd say if I had to lock in an AFC championship, Ravens, Chiefs, no doubter right now in my mind.
I think the only one I'd throw in there is the Texans. If they put it all together, younger team though. That's the thing, is that's a young team.
If they put it all together, yeah.
Young team, they're with DeMeco Ryans. I think they can make that run to the AFC Championship and maybe meet the Chiefs, but or the Ravens, depending on how seeding shakes out. But yeah, I mean the Bills. I just don't feel like they're ever going to make that hump. The Steelers and the Ravens are tied in the AFC North right now, but it just feels like the Steelers are going to kind of fade with that quarterback controversy kind of brewing there with Justin Fields and Russ. But yeah, I mean, I think the AFC to me has been a little bit surprising. I feel like the AFC we all expected to be stronger, and you got the Chiefs, you got the Ravens, and you've got the Texans. But outside of that, like you said, Mitch, it doesn't feel like there's any team out of those three that can make the run.
It's so funny because it just flips, right? I think 2 years ago, it was the AFC is stacked and it's not even close. And now it's NFC and more specifically the NFC North, which just sucks because the NFC North is just going to beat up on each other all year long.
Yeah, it's sick. Look at the point differential for the NFC North. Like, none of these are even close. They're all plus 40 or more. Detroit plus 60, Minnesota plus 63, Bears your Packers your lowest at plus 41. Compared to any other division, I can zoom this in a little bit. Compared to any of your other divisions, everybody's got a negative, and then you go down to the NFC North, you've got nobody even close to the negatives. The only other one would be the NFC South, with the Panthers coming in with a negative 100-point differential, but everybody else positive. Yeah, that's insane. Negative 100.
What's the Cowboys?
It's a great question, my good man.
I mean, it can't be good after the Lions.
Negative 42.
Yeah.
Yeah. The NFC East and the NFC West, both with only one team with a positive differential. The 49ers and the Commanders. Not even Philly has a point differential higher. They have a negative, and they're 3-2.
This is something to pay attention to as well, because if you remember, the Vikings had this going for them a couple years ago, and it was like, they had an amazing record, but they had a negative point differential. Frauds. This is something to watch. I think if you have teams that have a pretty drastic negative point differential, it's something to keep your eye on.
Yeah, it's kind of how you determine fraud versus contender.
Are you saying keep your eye on Carolina if they make the playoffs?
Yeah, I say watch out. I wouldn't put money on them.
Making the run. Nah, that's tough. But Philly definitely in that category with a negative 6. That's your biggest one that, yeah, they're 3-2, but you can't really hang your hat on them be good. To put it in perspective, the Bengals at 1-4 have a better differential than them by 1 point, but still. I love these little stats. In Indianapolis, the Colts at 3-3 have a differential of neutral of 0. So, yeah, Philly frauds in Philly for sure. But yeah, Minnesota with plus 63. I think that's the highest. Minnesota for sure. You got to imagine that this is going to tighten up after next week. And we'll talk about that in the next episode about where we see the Lions and the Vikings going next week in Minnesota and where we see the NFC North division going longer term. But did you guys have anything else from the NFL today? NFL Week 5. Or sorry, Week 6. Week 6.
Good picks by us.
Threw me off.
Good picks by us. Great win by the Lions today, but yeah, it's just it's sad. It's very, very sad. It's going to be really interesting. Brad has yet to, in his tenure, make a splash in free agency during the season. It's time. I think it's time. I think there's going to be a ton of, and I don't think those guys care. I don't think DC cares. I don't think Brad cares. I think there's going to be a lot of noise from the fan base to go do something, because it feels like more than ever this is their year. I'm in the camp of go do something.
Agreed.
And speaking of picks, 9-3 for me, Mitch 10-2, Andrew 9-3. And that's your NFL Week 6 picks. We're real solid. Andrew, you mentioned it in the last episode, but you're like, I think 11 of the 14 games we were in unison on, the three of us, and you said that's either going to be the best decision we've ever made or the worst, and it's trending like it's going to be good. Mitch, did you have an update from the Bengals game?
Last time I looked, Bengals had the ball again.
7-0.
Yeah, 7-0. End of the first. Wait, what's going on here? Yeah, no. Daniel Jones has thrown a pick.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean,
did you have anything else? Sorry, I kind of cut you off there.
No, I just are you like a little frazzled that mean you are going to be tied again? Because we're lockstep on the last two games here. So
haven't taken a look at the schedule or the running total, and but
I think
yeah,
you were up by 1.
I was up +1 there. Yeah,
so we're tied.
I would not rather be anywhere else, to be honest. It's good to be up there. And Andrew, you're going to be above 500, my friend.
Oh, no, I know what it feels like, fellas. Whoa, wasn't expecting that.
You said you would accept it once the game was over.
Oh, he hit it again, just for good measure.
Pound that button. Pound that button, Tommy. Pound that rock, Detroit. We'll all be back. We'll talk Minnesota and Lions this Wednesday for Walkthrough Wednesday. We would love to see you all there, and we'll always post the clips on TikTok, so follow us there. Follow us on Instagram. We post them there too, but not as often. And as always, the video form is always on YouTube. If you want to watch us in video form, catch those Will Levis moments and anything else that we share during the show, you can see it visually on YouTube in full form, just like you can on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, all the platforms. You want to see the Spider-Man? Should we all hit it before the end of the show? That might look like gang signs, what I was just doing. I'm not condoning that. Tom, you might have to blur that out, along with the double birds, like Eli Manning style when I did the Sirianni segment. Yeah, so like, follow, rate 5 stars, all that good stuff. Let's go Lions. 4-1, second place in the division. Big matchup to try to tie up that division with the Vikings this week. Quick recover to Aidan. Let's go Lions.
Meow meow.